minimums.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Flight Simulator 2004 video here on the Short Final channel. Today we're going to be looking at two different aircraft, the Qualitywings 757 here in front of you, and the Captainsim 757. What we're going to be doing today is comparing these two aircraft, finding out their strengths, their weaknesses, and which one I would recommend to get for both, or for different kinds of simmers. Let's go ahead, we'll start off in the virtual cockpit of each aircraft, then we'll move along to the exterior of each airplane, then we'll do the sounds, and then we'll just do some quick flight characteristics. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so starting off with the Qualitywings 757, we're here in the 2D cockpit, so just the panel. And right off the bat, it's a pretty good panel. It's got some nice features, not so nice features, such like that, and you'll see what those are in a bit. So, up here we have the full autopilot MCP panel, along with our ILS, which can be, is it stuck on manual? Yes. It has to be manually tuned. There is no auto on this one, so keep that in mind. A lot of these buttons are not functional. Alternate flaps are not functional. You can turn the gear up and off and like that. Going through the different sets here, we have the Qualitywings control panel. So we have our doors, whether you want the Qualitywings Q Pass, stuff like that, cargo doors, service doors. You have two different styles of flight directors. You have a panel mode, which is standard and light. I think light is even lighter than how light this airplane is together. So I just leave it on standard. And then you have the tape style, or the EADI style, so tape or round. Now this here is a big thing. The Qualitywings has multiple versions of the EADI/PFD. It has multiple versions. So the Captainsim only has the round one, so your speed is over here. Where the Qualitywings also has another part where the speed is on the side, so keep that in mind. Moving along, we have the overhead panel. Your IRS alignment is either off or nav. There is no align, there's no at, stuff like that. None of these buttons back here work. Yaw dampers can be turned on and off. Electrical engines on continuous cannot be turned on or off. These, the electrical panel, the hydraulic pumps are all clickable. That is not. Data recorder is not clickable. Battery is on. Standby power is, I think, off or auto. There is no battery. APU, there is off or on. It just goes over to the start, but it does not stay there. You cannot click the center drives. Bus ties are always on auto. And APU, you cannot turn the APU on or off either. Moving along, glare shields and stuff is not clickable. Runway turn-off lights are either all on or all off. Same with the landing lights. Those can be turned on. Logo lights can be turned on. Those cannot. The rest of those lights are not. No wipers. No rain repellent. Wing anti-ice can be turned on. Fuel pumps can be turned on, as are the cross feeds. You have ground and auto for your engine starts. You have both 1 and 2. You have no ram air turbine. You have window heat is always on. Emergency lights can be armed, but it's either off or on. So, or no, this is your engine limiter, I'm sorry. Window heat is over here. They are always on as well, though, so. You can arm this. I'm not sure what it is. I'm still learning the 757. Not sure what it is, but it can be on. So I'm not sure what that is. SoCal, that is all on. The no smoking signs are on or off. There is no auto. This panel is completely not usable. Equipment cooling is off. You cannot change the cooling. It's always auto. Trim air is always on, same with the recirculation fans. Those cannot be reset. This can be on or auto, or off or auto. APU engine bleeds and isolation valve can be turned on and off. That's the overhead panel. Next up, we have our little FMC. None of the things are dimmable. You have your status page, and that's it. Those can be turned on and off. And then you have your EFIS. And that right there is a quite simple EFIS. So, yep. Traffic can be turned on or off. You have round or normal. That's it for that. Next up, you have your radios. Now here's where it gets bad. You cannot fly this aircraft reasonably well without having to keep going back and forth between Swift and the simulator, because you don't have the ability to change your mode. You cannot squawk Charlie, or you cannot be mode Charlie. You cannot be on TA or TARA. There's no out on. It's always standby. To change this, you have to be here. You cannot use the actual provided knobs to turn it. And everything is changed through this directly, except for your VHF radios, and that seems odd. So, you have COM 1, COM 2, both. So, I mean, it's quite basic, but you still have that. ADI, that's on HSI, the E1. All the panels are undockable. Your FMC is very basic, so you have your position in it. You have your route. If we go to the inertial reference, you just have your cost index, cruise altitude, and reserves. You don't have any wind info. If you go to takeoff, it completely skips the N1 limit. There's no N1 limit page. It goes to this and immediately goes to assuming flaps 15. You can change this to 5, but your V-speeds will stay the same. So that's very unrealistic. Approach mode, yeah. It does have full FM, or it does have full SIDS and stars. However, it's quite basic. Moving on, we have our EFIS panel, which is just a bigger version. And then down here, we have our rudder and aileron trim. Then we have a more simple version, I guess you could say. I'm not really sure what the point of this panel is. And then we have our checklists. So it does have checklists that you can do, and these are nice, but I've never used them. Alright, moving on. Welcome to the Captainsim 757 2D panel here. We're going to start off in the main view here, which is the forward facing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the yoke there, because it really just makes everything hard to see. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off over here. So the Qualitywings does only have one style of EHSI, and that is that circular one, so all your speed is through the steam gauge. Altitude is also through steam gauges and everything like that. We do have our auto brakes here. Disarm, off, and then we do have our alternate flaps. Right there. And I'm just going to put that at normal. Moving along, we have auto or manual on our ILS tuning. And if we go in auto, you can't move it, but if we go into this here, you can. It's a little bit touchy, though. It's hard to get used to, because you have to just hit it at the right spot to get it to work. But auto. Then moving on, we have the overhead panel, which is here. I think... yes. These can be moved, but I'm not sure how we do that, so let's just go over to the overhead panel. Overhead. There we go. Moving into the overhead, we have our IRSs. Then we have our yaw dampers, which can be turned on and off. We have our fuel system. Everything works in this. Electrical can all come on or off. But we don't want that on because the engines aren't ready to be started yet. Moving on, we have utility buses. Bus ties can be auto or off. We can turn the drive discontinues on and off. Everything in here works. Window heat is on, off. Engine starts. Fuel pumps can be on or off. And we only have one cross-feed valve on this one, but that works fine. We have our fuel quantity indication gauge here, which is our fuel temp, how much fuel on each one, and the total quantity. We have windshield wipers, and I'll show you that in the VC. No smoking, auto, off, or on. We have our climb control, landing altitude here. And this one's quite touchy. That's one click. So it's not the best, but it works. We do have our flight deck temp here, which is 23, 24. You can set it to that. It goes to auto. So that is a plus. We have recirculation fans, trim air. That can be set to in-op or on. We can turn on our packs, and those can also go to our standby. And we have our isolation valve and APU pack, and engine bleeds. Moving on to the CDU, we do have a fully simulated CDU here, including the perf-init. However, I'm wondering maybe the 757 doesn't have that N1 limiter, because this one doesn't have it as well. So, and it also lacks winds, but it's a little bit more complicated than the Qualitywings. We also have progress, FMC com, hold, legs, menu, nav radial, initial reference. We can go to our index, and we have our pages and everything like that. Maintenance does not work. Neither do those bottom two. So, moving on, we have our EFIS here. We have everything you possibly need. We have our range, TCAS, and traffic. We can dim it or brighten it as much as we want. Now, if you get it too bright, it becomes this blue. So I tend to keep it right outside of that blue range, so where it's nice and black. Moving on, we have our overhead lights panel here. Runway turn-off lights can be turned on individually, as can the wing lights and the position lights. We can unlock and lock the flight deck door, overhead panel lighting, dome lighting, cockpit breakers, and all that. Glare shield can be turned on and off. It only works at night though. Autopilot panel, we have our full panel here. Then we have some of these. I'm not sure what these do. I have to look into it. Then we have on here the Captainsim. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but we have a lot of different functions in the Captainsim. So we can deploy the ram air turbine, wheel chocks, service door, APU cowling to look in the APU and all that. So just some eye candy for you if you're into that. Then we have some wing views here. So we have our left wing view, we have our right wing view, a couple different things on that. And then we can go back to that forward. We have some nice views here. Going back to that center. Then we have here, we just have some of the engine instruments and stuff like that. I can cycle these 2 times. There we go. Now they'll restart again. Then we have our radio stack here. We have our TCAS, which can be on or off.
TCAS test, pass. TCAS test, pass.
Now what I have noticed is the TCAS test, it doesn't actually run the TCAS test. It only says it's passed, but we have all our different modes, transponder, on, TARA, all that. Then we have our ADF, our frequencies, and then we have up here our comms. Those all work. We can squawk mode Charlie with the transponder, so this can be flown on VATSIM, which is awesome. Moving on, we have our Las Vegas, and we have a checklist that just opens up the electronic knee board, which honestly I have never used in my life. So, and then we have the IRS alignment panel here, so this can all be selected, position, track, and ground speed. All the lovely stuff that you would need on your flight. And then, the icing on the cake, we have fully functional weather radar. So, if you want to learn how to use weather radar, the Captainsim has it. Virtual cockpit of the Qualitywings is very well modeled. It looks good all around. However, this is their HD version. I'm not sure what's so HD about it. It's still quite bad. But it's their... No, this is their normal. Never mind. This is not their HD. Or is it? I don't remember. They both look the same from what I've seen. So, I'm not sure which one is which. So again, none of these back here are changeable through the actual things. You just have to click up and down and all that. Moving on. Yep. There's your transponder. It's always on standby. No weather radar. Moving on. You do not have fire discharge. None of that. So this is not... It does not model like bad systems. Moving on, the FMC is not clickable from the VC, so if you are a big VC flyer, this is not for you. The FMC is static. So you can change, and it'll change when you're, like, doing that. So you can look at it, but it's not actually going to work, and you can't edit anything through there. That goes up and down. You have a few little small things around here, but not much. As for the MCP panel, it's always manual. There's no auto ILS tuning. You have your auto brakes, 1, 2, 3, 4 max auto, and then rejected takeoff, and then just your flaps. Okay, so basically, positives of the Qualitywings internal cockpit and 2D panel. It is very nicely textured. I do like the textures, and this is with SweetFX. If I turn SweetFX off, this is what it looks like. So it is very nicely textured. However, there are some big negatives. That means no workable TCAS, no weather radar, no functional FMC from the virtual cockpit, a high lack of any overhead function. It has the very basics needed to fly the airplane, but all your little extras that everybody uses for realism are not modeled. So if you're one of those, you want everything, this is not for you. However, Qualitywings does have this cockpit, which I will show you now. The Qualitywings 757 has one thing that the Captainsim does not, and that is the retro VC. Many of your aircraft nowadays, such as Icelandair, all of Icelandair aircraft have the retro VC, and that is one thing the Captainsim lacks, is the retro virtual cockpit and panels, which really put the Qualitywings ahead in that aspect. I wish Captainsim would have brought this here over to their aircraft. However, it still lacks everything that we want in an airplane from the virtual cockpit standpoint, other than this panel. So, if this makes up your mind for you, go ahead and get the Qualitywings. But I'm going to switch over to the Captainsim. We'll go through the virtual cockpit in it and panels, and we'll see if you can sway you over. Moving into the virtual cockpit, it's going over the basic texturing. It's pretty high quality, maybe a tad better than the Qualitywings on the overhead panel. Still very bad up close, but once you get back a little bit further, it's quite readable. Everything is fully operable. One of the cool things is we do have the wiper blades. So if you're into that, for weather, the wiper blades are simulated, unlike the Qualitywings. You can unlock and lock the passenger or the cockpit door, which if you have the cabin model, it'll display the business class, and if you don't, it has wing views. So I just set 2 of my active camera views back here to the wings, which are partially, not fully modeled, only partially. So we have the left engine but not the right, and we have both wings, so partially modeled. However, they're not really going to do you much good because they can't really be seen from the cockpit up here. Like, almost here, like right there. So, moving on, the MCP panel here. If I can actually like scroll down, there we go. Manual and auto. Very detailed MCP panel. It looks absolutely amazing. They got the nice little dust particles on there. Looks really good. We do have our checklist up here, but it doesn't come out. Get open up the windows. Roll those back. It's a Russian developer, so I haven't found the texture where this is at, but I'm gonna go ahead and like take all this here, and I'm just gonna delete that guy. I don't like it. And it has a few more Russian things. Is this plate with the actual thing? I have not found out where that's at. Moving on, the FMC is fully operable from the virtual cockpit. So you can use this and not have to keep like going back and forth between the 2D panel and VC panel, or VC cockpit, virtual cockpit. And that's honestly about it. It's just as highly detailed, if not more detailed, than the Qualitywings. But it is a newer model, and they've put a lot more work into it since then. However, it does lack this it does lack the different styles. Okay, here we are outside on the external model of the Qualitywings 757. Now, the Qualitywings did a pretty good job modeling their 7.5, and excuse that texture issue. I can't do anything about it. The Qualitywings did do a pretty good job modeling their 7.5. It looks very good. A few small things is the lack of a texture on the pitot tubes, a kind of low res interior, but there's not really anything you can do about that, and you're not really looking at it too much, so it's not too much of a gripe. The engines themselves look pretty good with those RB211s. Looks really nice. The texturing underneath the wing is good. It has the winglet they did really good on. They got it pretty down pat. So I do like the way they did the winglet. The tail fin, everything on the tail fin looks good. They did get the anti-static dischargers on both the horizontal and vertical stabilizers. I don't think, yep, there they are. There's a couple of them. There's one on the wing, and we have these little wingtip vortice makers on the wings. I think that's what they are. Overall, it's a pretty good exterior model. Landing gear look really nice. I like the way they did them. Pretty high quality landing gear. So, Qualitywings did a very good job with their exterior model. So if you are more of an exterior flyer, this might be the model for you. So overall, they did a good job. But paint jobs can do a lot, and this was converted from FSX. This was an FSX paint that I converted to FS9. So painting does have a lot to do with how the aircraft is going to look. Great example is the Wilco A320. Man, massive thunderstorm right there. A good example is the Wilco A320. It looked like garbage, and I kind of repainted it and retextured it, and now it looks good. So that is another thing. So if you want a good model, but you don't want to really go into it yourself, you can't do that. So the Qualitywings does look good, so long as you have a good paint job, and it has good details all throughout the fuselage, wings, and everywhere else. Now, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can put the flaps down. No, they're not going to go. Let me go into the cockpit here. Oh, lovely. You'd think. Let's try it. Let's get some hydraulic power. Okay, all the hydraulics are on. All right. No flaps. But the Qualitywings did nail the flaps. They did really good with those. So overall, the exterior model of the Qualitywings is very high quality. I kind of miss it going to the Captainsim, though they both are really good. So, all right, next up is the Captainsim. All right, here we have the Captainsim 757 exterior model, And right off the bat, let me go ahead and grab this here. Right off the bat, it is a good model. Overall, it looks quite like the Qualitywings one. Not too much right off the bat I'm seeing that would put it behind. Nice texturing on the windshield. Pitot tubes do have actual detail on them. The interior is quite highly, the interior is a little bit more detailed than the Qualitywings, which is funny because I've actually gotten better frames in this one than I do the Qualitywings, so kind of funny there. Moving along, those RB211s, the engine detail on this is insane. However, I can't seem to find the texture for this nose, or the cone here, because when it's off, there is no texture on the cone, but as soon as the engine turns on, boom, there's a texture, and it's quite annoying, so I have to hunt down that texture and find out where it's at. Landing lights, 3D, they look good. Moving along the outer edge of the wing here, or the leading edge, it looks good, high quality. It does not have those little it does not have those little bumps. I think those would be wingtip vortice generators. I'm not sure what they are. But this one does not have them, modeled in 3D. Moving out to the winglet. I'm not sure. Something in this winglet looks a little bit off, just a touch. I'm not sure what, but something just seems a touch off. That right there seems to be the texture, because this repaint, I think this one was an FS9 to begin with, but yeah. So overall, that looks good. Moving on, this aircraft, man, that's really bothering me. This aircraft here does have the anti-static generators as it should. It has a little bit of an effect as, like it's gotten mirrored. Like something got mirrored, like it's supposed to be viewed at this angle here. Like that right there. So that looks like it has a little bit of a reflection on it, which is kind of cool. As does this one. It's kind of got a reflection of the windows on the wing. So that's kind of cool. Moving on to the landing gear here. Sorry, this is not FSX quality camera movement. I don't have FS9, it's kind of limited. The landing gear could be a little better. There seems to be a lack of visible wires and everything going up, and if I turn that off, you can see better. There's a lack of wires and visible stuff in the landing gear. It's a little more basic than the Captainsim, or than the Qualitywings, I mean. But it's all in all decent, and whoever painted this got the logos on the inside wrong. Yeah. Did they get them wrong on the outside? Nope. Okay. And then the landing lights here up front. These textures look nice. But again, just a lack of visible wires going up to the front. I'm going to contact FS Dream Team. What the heck is this? Anyway, overall, the Captainsim is quite well detailed. If we do find this here, we can turn the radar on, open up the radome. And we do have a moving radar and everything like that. I mean, but who's going to use that? I doubt anybody, really. We do have a lot of other stuff here. I'll just open everything up. Open that radome up again. Okay, that's everything's opened up now. Alright, so we do have our tags on here. Remove for flight, everything like that. Pitot covers are on. The door is open. Got our little flight attendant there. Cargo hold, well nicely detailed. We got chocks. Everything looks to be good. Do have our engine covers open. Basic engine texture on the inside. Still nice. Nice touch. Moving along, we have our back aft cargo hold. Nicely detailed in there. And then we have our aft compartment. And then we have our APU intake right there that's open as well, along with our APU entrance, or the doors to open and access the APU from the inside, or to the inside there. Again, the aft, we do have a basic representation inside of the cabin for the exits. And then moving down here, we got the engine covers, pitot heat, or roof for flight covers there, stuff like that. So it looks pretty good. Again, we have our flight attendant standing there with, what is this? What airline? Looks like American Airlines, I'm not sure. So yeah, all in all, the exterior model of the Captainsim is just as good as the Qualitywings. There are a few small things that could be improved on it, but overall it is pretty good. So, which one do I recommend buying? When it comes to the actual flight dynamics, systems, and overall look of the airplane, you're going to have more liveries in the Captainsim than the Qualitywings. Some of them are older though, so you're going to be doing a little bit more repaint conversion work to get the liveries into the Captainsim for FS9. And a lot of those are your newer ones. So your new American Airlines livery, which they just retired all their 75s, which is quite sad. Or your Icelandair special liveries, I had to find it and convert it, and then I got called a thief and accused of stealing it when you could find it on his website, or the one at least. The other one was through the Qualitywings or through the Captainsim repaint manager. But his repaints were available for free, so I converted them to FS9, and he called me stealing when I tried to give them to him to upload to his website for you FS9ers. That aside, though, you can convert them yourself, no problems, as long as you don't share them. All in all, the Captainsim is really good. I like the way it's modeled. I like the VC. I like the interior. It's a good airplane, and I've enjoyed flying it the little I have so far. So I definitely say go with the Captainsim over the Qualitywings, and that is because, get inside here, that is because you're going to have a lot more fun flying this airplane. You can turn on the weather radar and find all those storms, such as the big one, which was just here a little bit ago. There he is. You can find that weather if it's embedded and avoid it. You have the ability to use the TCAS from the virtual cockpit, which is really good.
TCAS test. Pass.
You would not believe how many times I have had to quit, or I've had to log off VATSIM flight, or go into the VATSIM Swift client just to, like, turn on the TCAS for the, or turn on the transponder, Squawk Mode Charlie, in the Qualitywings, and it just was not fun. Because sometimes the sim would crash when you exit it, and there's just a whole mess, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So the Captainsim in that regard is better. However, if you're going for that panel, then the Qualitywings is going to be up your alley. If you're new to the FMC, you might want to do the Qualitywings. And one of the other big points of the Qualitywings is that it has the models already included. With the Qualitywings, you get the 757-200, 757-300, and the 757 Freighter. And I think you get the C-32. So you get all those variants. I think it's like $30 US. So for that, you get all the variants. The Captainsim, $10 US for the Captainsim 757-200 base pack. Additional $10 for the 300 expansion. An additional $10 for the 200 Freighter. So it is $30, and they're both about the same. It's just, what do you want? Do you want the models for $30 all up front, or do you want to pay $30 and install 3 separate add-ons, or one base pack and then the expansions? Which is better for you? Which one are you going to fly? If you just want a 757-200 and are not going to fly the 300 too often, get the 200 base pack for $10 and test it. It's not too big of an investment. It's quite worth it. The 757, I'm going to be flying it a lot more, just because it is a lot better. It's more detailed. There's a lot more to it. But it does take a little bit longer to learn. I'm still trying to figure out the MCP and the autopilot, because it's different than the PMDG 747. I don't know why. So I'm still trying to learn that. But for everybody that asks which is better, the Qualitywings or the Captainsim, I'm going to have to say the Captainsim. And it's for all those reasons listed above in the last 25-30 minutes of this video. Alright, I hope that helped you guys decide whether you're going to get the Captainsim or the Qualitywings 757 if you are interested in looking for a new aircraft to add to your hangar collection. I would definitely go for the Captainsim just because it is a lot better interior-wise, and the exterior model is pretty good. I do like it. There's a very good variety of liveries for it, though you're going to be doing some conversion work. Check out my last video I did to see how to do that. Because some of the newer liveries aren't available for the FS9 version, so there's a little bit of work involved to get it from FSX to FS9, but the result is well worth it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, night, whatever it is. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what I'm doing, want to support the channel. Till next time, have a great day, safe skies, see ya.